Hi! So for this video I'm going to talk a little bit more about myself, and I'm so out of my comfort zone because I really don't like talking about myself, especially to a camera, because it's really uncomfortable for me, and I'm really bad at making eye contact, so I might be like... My earliest memory of horses. I remember going down to my grandma's house all the time and riding her horses. And we'd do two-back with my mom because we were really little, so we had a hard time controlling. But I remember asking my mom when I was little what her favorite animal was, and of course she said horses. And I remember ever since then, like that was my earliest memory, ever since then I immediately started running around like a horse. And my grandma also likes to tell the story of when I was little, that when we were at like some place there was a horse and carriage, and my grandma was carrying me over to the horse carriage, and I was shaking, like, because I was so excited because it was a horse. And the lady that had the horse and carriage asked, like, is she scared? And my grandma was like, no, she's just really excited. And so I don't remember that, but my grandma likes to tell me that story, and I think my grandpa does too, quite frankly. But first memories with horses is I was at my grandparents' house, and they had a Mustang, and his name was Utah. And my mom was out doing something, I don't know, and I jumped on his back and I was just riding around the paddock. And I remember my grandma T was like screaming, like, get off that horse, because I'm like maybe 7, like I'm super little, maybe 8, like I'm probably shouldn't be riding a horse I don't really know very well around loose in a paddock. Probably shouldn't do that, but I did. My first horse was an old dun horse named Rowdy. He was so long you could fit like 6 people on his back. He was just super long. And I remember one time my mom wasn't getting out to the barn fast enough, and I was like, screw this. So I took the rope to the halter and I tied it around, and I just jumped on his back, bareback. What's funny is my mom saw it, and she was like, what are you doing? You're not using this, you barely know him. Why didn't you wait? And I was like, I was wanting to get on and you weren't coming out to the barn fast enough. I wanted to ride my horse. And she asked me, she's like, how did you get on? So what we would do is he would start eating grass, and we would sit on his head, and he would launch us when he lifted his head up onto his back. He probably didn't like it very much, but it helped us who are really tiny and can't boost ourselves on up there, and so it was very helpful. My second horse was a bay roan mare named Josie, and I kind of stole her from my dad. Let's be honest, I did steal her from my dad. She was my first rodeo horse, actually. I ran her on junior high school rodeo, and she was good. I mean, we weren't great, but she was good. A person that got me into rodeo was a girl named Ashley. She approached me at a 4-H show and was like, hey, you should totally do junior high school rodeo. And I would, like, first of all, I started crying because I didn't think I was good enough for that. And I probably wasn't good enough. But she saw something like a drive or a work ethic that would be good for that kind of discipline or that kind of style of riding, which meant a lot to me. Like the fact that someone came up to me and was like, you'd be good at doing rodeo. And I'd be like, what? I just didn't see myself doing that. And then when someone pointed it out, I was like, wow, I could do this. I could. And so we did. We started doing it. And no, I wasn't good. Let's just be honest, I wasn't. I was more focused than a lot of other kids. I can say that. Rodeo is its own thing, Rodeo is a whole different ballgame. Like, you can ask any real barrel racer when they're running, it's just you and the horse. It is just you and the horse, and everything else in the world stops. Everything. Like, my favorite part of barrel racing isn't really the barrel pattern, it's the alleyway before the barrel pattern. Because when you're coming down that alleyway, all of the world stops. It's all super quiet, and you become tunnel visioned. And all you can see is between the horse's ears. And it gets so quiet that you can even hear you and the horse's heartbeat thumping. And you can feel it through the saddle. That right there is the addiction. That right there is the heroine of barrel racing. That right there. When you hit that and you go in and run your pattern and you're leaving the pen down the alleyway, it's such a high. And I miss it. I'm so excited to get back into it. My third barrel horse was a horse named Rock, and he was my soulmate. He was a big bay horse. He wasn't papered, but we do know he was a quarter horse. He had a little bit of PTSD problems because he had been mishandled in the past. He was big. He was 15 hands. He wasn't big, but he was big. And he was a little bit intimidating, let's be honest, because he was unpredictable. And not unpredictable in a harmful way, but unpredictable in the way that he would have moments because of his PTSD or anxiety. And it was nice because we figured out his triggers, that his triggers were when he'd start shaking his head, we knew this is the time we need to calm down and focus. We don't need to be getting after him right now. We need to just let him calm down, and then he'll be fine again. And he was. He'd calm down, he'd be fine, and then he'd go back to doing his job. My fourth horse was a horse named Brink, but most of you know Brink. And Brink was an off-the-track thoroughbred that I bought for $700. And it's a funny story because when we went to go look at him, the lady pulled him out of the stall, and he was big. And I never really rode 16 hand horses. It's 16 and up I really didn't ride, but 16 and under, I typically rode. He was big. He came out of his stall, presenting himself all arrogant. He was very arrogant. Very arrogant. It was scary. But he was awe-striking. I instantly, as soon as I saw him, I was like, Mom, but before we went to go pick him up, funny story, my mom was like, keep a straight face. Keep a poker face. Don't let them know that you really love them, because then they're going to be stern on their price, which is $700, so it's what? So after we looked at him and everything, after Mom was like, keep the poker face, we were on our way home, and Mom was like, okay, so do you like him or not? Because I love him, and I want to take him home. And I was like, well, yeah, I like him too. She's like, really? Because you don't seem that excited. And I was like, no, you told me to keep a poker face, and I did. And she's like, well, yeah, you did, because it didn't look like you were very impressed. And I was like, yeah, I was. And he was he was a thoroughbred, but he was gonna be good for barrels because he was light on his feet, and he got up on his hindquarters nice, and he dug deep, and he was not the average thoroughbred that was long and lanky and long-legged brutes that they typically are, and he was more athletic than most thoroughbreds I've seen. And when we brought him home, I remember my dad making fun of his name. He's like, his name's Brink. You're not going to keep it Brink, are you? And I was like, yeah, we are. Because you're not going to forget that name, Brink. And even to this day, because he just died last year, even to this day, if I talk to people, they won't know who I am. I'll be like, yeah, remember me? We rodeoed together. And they'll be like, I rode the big red horse. And they're instantly like, oh, yeah, I know you. He had the big white marking on his forehead. And I'm like, yeah, that's me. Happy you don't know who I am, but yeah, my big red horse, which I appreciate. I appreciate that everyone noticed him. And I love that he was Brink. He was the big red horse. I started running him my sophomore year of high school rodeo. We didn't do good. Let's just be honest. We didn't do very good. I think we were 6th or 7th in the state, which quite frankly is better than most. But I try to shoot for the stars. Or no, I try to shoot for the moon, fall on the stars, kind of thing, whatever. Fallon Taylor says that quote. Anyway, but he tried so hard, and but it was our last day of state finals, and we knocked our last day. So mad. I had thrown my little, 17-year-old fit, I was so mad. But I was like, next year. I was really determined. You know what I did? That day, I took him home, and I was like, we're training tomorrow. We're going to train tomorrow. Sure enough, got him out the next day, and we started training right away. Not hard. Not drill him into the ground hard, but I started teaching him. You got to get up off that shoulder. You got to start picking yourself up. I can't hold you when we're going that fast. So pick yourself up. And he did. He started getting better. We started sharpening things to the point where I barely was doing anything during pulls. And my senior year was the year that we accomplished a lot. I won 3 buckles on him that year, I think. And I won a lot of checks too on him that year. And I don't know, he was a trooper my senior year. He got me to nationals that year, and we went to Gillette, Wyoming, and competed for the National High School Rodeo. And we didn't do good there because, quite frankly, if you ever have seen National High School Rodeo Girls 1, 18-second pole patterns are like the thing. You know, they're like normal. Like, someone will lay down an 18 or a 19-second pole pattern, they act like it's like peanut butter and jellies every day. You know, whatever. That's my saying. Take it or leave it. But I averaged around 21 seconds. So it was like, oh, okay. See you later. I'm not gonna see you at the finish line. You know, there was no keeping up. But here in Iowa, 21 and 20s are like, you know, the average here that I've seen. I've seen a couple 19s laid down here in Iowa, but they're very rare. Very rare. But yeah, so it was our last day of my senior year. We're like second in the state, you know. I'm like, oh yeah, if I can run clean this whole weekend, we'll be first in the state. And I was so excited. I was like shooting for the moon again, you know. And we knocked. Our last run, we knocked. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. We're going to repeat last year. Now, we might not be 6th or 7th, but we're going to be 5th. And only the top 4 go to nationals. I was so mad. I was so, like, on the way home, running that pole pattern, I was like, I am so mad because I was like, we were so close. What happened? And he ran clean most of the year. Like, I think he maybe knocked 3 times that whole season, fall and spring season. Like, it was, like, insane. But sure enough, we got done with our run, and we went to the award ceremony later on that day, and we got 3rd in the state. So we made it. We didn't get 1st. We got 3rd. And you know what? It's way better than the year before. And I was stoked. Like, I got to go up on the stage. I got to present my buckle. And I was happy with it. I was. And the fact that we were going to go to Gillette, Wyoming, even if I wasn't going to do very good, the accomplishment of going meant a lot to me. I actually went 2 years without my horses, and it was a hard time. It was challenging, but it was because I had a baby and I had just gotten married, and I needed to focus on them first. It was like I said, it was hard, but it wasn't awful. It was a good learning experience. But I did try. I won't lie. I'll be honest. I did try to fill in the hole in my heart, because if any of you horse girls know, horses take up a big part of your heart. And any person that hasn't owned horses but longs for them, you get the longing feeling. And I even went to extents to try to, like, fill that hole with, like, other things. Like, I tried doing parkour with my husband. I tried getting into things that were really time consuming. It just wasn't working out for me. And I remember one weekend I was on my way to help someone with their horse. And I was just like, I can't do this. Like, I cannot be helping other people with their horses and then not own one of my own. Like, I just can't. Like, this is just not going to work. And so I called my dad, and I was like, what would you think about me coming down Friday through Sunday to ride my horses? Like, is that not enough? Is that going to be, you know, just enough? Like, who knows? I was like, we can give it a shot. If my training with my horses doesn't, you know, succeed, or if they, you know, if it's not enough training, I don't have to continue doing it, you know, but it's worth a shot, right? So I was determined. So I did. I started hauling me and my kid down every weekend, Friday through Sunday, to my parents' house to train horses. And I still do that to this day. I'm still doing that. It's been a year now. It's officially been 1 year. Yeah, so that's weird, right? You're like probably thinking like, what just happened? Like, completely different time of day. She's wearing completely different clothes. Yeah, so that's gonna happen probably a lot during my videos because, you know, hashtag mom life, you know. Yeah, but anyway, this is just a like 15-minute video about myself and kind of the beginning of this vlog. The reason I started vlogging was because the rodeo life, right? Like, there's tons of things that happen during it. It's super exciting. It's super adrenaline pumped. You know, the life of rodeo / that horses is very exciting. And I know there are little girls out there that just love watching videos about horses. So why not, like, give that to them? Plus, I'm the oldest of 4 girls, so a life with 4 girls has to be dramatic and interesting. I wouldn't even be surprised if some of my vlog videos kind of feel like reality TV. Do you like my mug? I love my mug. It looks like my husband. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video. I will hopefully see you in the next one. So I will see you guys later.